Hey, this is Ben. This is the 27th stanza of The Art of Peace, back at the gym. And what I'm about to do is something that I really love doing, which is just coming up to a machine, intentionally not looking at the weight, and just settling in. So when I was outside, we talked about settling into one of the senses. But inside, the technique is to settle into the framework of the machine. And you do that at its softest edge. So you don't commit 100% and then adjust. You commit at 0.009%, the slightest commit that you can make, but still be connected. You commit that little, and then you align. So you tame the mind. You tame the mind with connecting to the least amount of the resistance. The least amount of effort you can connect to the resistance. Call that the front edge. Then go into the feet. How do your feet feel? Do your feet feel grounded on the machine? Do your feet feel like they're participating? They don't have to be participating a lot. They just have to be doing something. Then pelvis, move it around. Left, right, front, back. Find what feels good today. Actually, find what feels good in a moment, just in a moment, and then you're going to basically allow the pelvis to do its own thing. So in the moment, what feels good. Don't forget your ground. Never forget your ground. Then you come into your core. Last night I had this sensation in my core and the bottom lower left, like right next to my belly button. It felt like a pulled muscle, but it was thicker. It had more shape to it. Muscle feels kind of linear in some ways. This was bulbous. It felt a little bit like gas, but different from gas. I tried to move it around, but anyway, it didn't really move. It's gone now. But it took my attention. It took my awareness. But today it's gone. And so there's just this feeling of preparedness. It's the way still water looks. My core feels the way still water looks. A placid body of water looks. Then heart space, shoulder blades. I'm always going to my shoulder blades, and I'm always just studying my shoulder blades. Constantly interacting with shoulder blades, over and over again. Shoulder blades, shoulder blades, shoulder blades. That sets my throat. Shoulder blades in the rear set my throat to the front, collarbones, and then I go into my throat. I want relative ease through my throat in all ways. I don't want to be working with my throat muscles. I don't want to be working around in the front of my throat, the back of my throat. I want to be calm, open. Now, top of my head, I want it to be balanced on top of this open throat. Just 1 degree of variance in your head spacement over your center line can add, I think it's 12 pounds of pressure to your neck. Anyway, once I've gone through that, I take a full breath. And as I exhale, I start to interact with the weight. Slowly at first. I'm just getting a perception of it. I'm just getting a little bit of intel. Once I've got that little bit of intel, that little bit of awareness, then I can start to deploy effort. Now, how I deploy effort is a big decision. Right now, this weight's really light. I can tell immediately. The second I started to deploy more effort, it moved. So I've got plenty of room to interact with this weight. Now, that's my perception. What happens right after perception is mental volition. What happens right after perception is what you believe about the situation. So you go into, just a reminder, we're going back through the 5 elements of the mind according to Buddhism. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches this style right now. Anyway, first is form, so the form of the machine. form of the external world. Second is feel. What do you feel at your feet, your tailbone, your belly button, your heart, your throat, your brain, your breath? Then, how do you perceive what you feel? How do you perceive the environment? And then what do you believe about the environment? So it's light. In the past, one of my thoughts about lightness has been, you got to do high reps. High reps, light. You got to do high reps. You want to build muscle with light weight, you got to do high reps. To burn fat too. High reps. High reps, yep. Yeah, that's a fundamental belief. How about this? This is too light, man. It's some bullshit. I can't do shit with this lightweight. It's got to be heavy. I'm not trying to do a bunch of reps. This is stupid. Light is boring. I need something to challenge me. That's a fundamental belief. It's what you believe about the environment. Now, the practice is to meet that, anything that shows up. How about this? It's so light, but it still feels heavy. I'm no good. I'm weak. How about that fundamental belief? So the practice is whatever shows up doesn't really matter, because you just recognize it as what it is, and then you move into choice. And choice is how to interact. You can interact with the form. You can interact with the feel. You can interact with your perceptions. So it feels light. There's a way to interact with this machine where it won't feel light. I promise you that. There's a way to interact with this machine to change your fundamental beliefs. Now, the best way I know how to do this is through creativity. The mindset of creativity is friendly curiosity. The mindset of creativity is friendly curiosity. So the idea that we're trying to create is called friendly curiosity. The act of creating friendly curiosity is the act of going into the fullness of the experience and being open to whatever shows up. So as you're inside any particular experience, this just happens to be this machine over in the back right corner of Crunch. As you start to interact, the intelligence of your body begins to present itself and you become immersed in the experience. More time spent, more knowledge you'll have, more awareness you'll have. Now here I like to play with the elements in nature, move like fire. Compress like earth. Flow like air. Create waves like water. Become empty of effort like space. You're just going through your internal environment systematically. There's nothing particularly special about it or complex. The idea, the language of this, the translation of this from idea to words is simple enough that it's been followed for thousands of years. So, don't think I'm giving you anything new here. I've just helped you break it down, if anything. First thing you break it down to is the form, then the feel, how you perceive what you feel. Then, what do you believe about what you perceive? Then it's consciousness, then it's choice. So, we've gotten pretty good at recognizing the up, terrible at recognizing the down. So, Armor Down calls this the drop. So at the end of a workout, the drop is the part where you let go of all effort. So now I just created an environment that's not very light. It's very pressure. I'm on the 13th plate of this machine. So my perception visually of the idea of the heavier weight has ideas associated with it. But that's just fundamental beliefs. So I'm going to move away from that, move away from my assumptions, move away from my fundamental beliefs, and then go into what is. And what is first the form. That's where I connect to the front edge. So whether it's 1,000 pounds or 1 pound, I'm still connecting to the front edge with 0.0009 effort. And then from there, going to the feel at my feet, my pelvis, my core, heart space, throat, top of the head, full breath in. How do I perceive this? Is it overwhelming? Is it heavy? Can I move it at all? Or does it have space? Interact with what is. You may experience change in thought. You may experience your awareness going somewhere else. Bring it back to what's going on right now. Now press your edge as much or as little as you want. What do you believe about how you're pressing your edge? Then you stay soft when it gets hard. Now, the drop. Come to the reverse edge. This is where you're still connected to 99.9% of the effort. You come to that connection, and it's the reverse edge, right where the weight stack is right at the edge of being off. Then you take a deep breath in. And as a whole, you soften the effort. Systematically choosing to soften the effort through the feet, pelvis, core, heart space, throat, top of the head. Full breath. Notice change in the body. So check this out. The 27th stanza of The Art of Peace goes like this. The essence of the art of peace is to cleanse yourself of maliciousness and get in tune with your environment and to clear your path of all obstacles and barriers. So he's kind of talking about what we talked about in reverse. He's talking about maliciousness, so it's fundamental beliefs. And then he's kind of saying get in tune with your environment and then remove your path, remove all obstacles. So Oeshiba talks about ideas in circles, so you can tell that each part of this idea is kind of circles into each other. We just went through it from the bottom up. Actually, we did a kind of a triangle in relation to this. We started with form, external world. That's in tune with your environment. Now, we also broke down internal and external environment. So internal environment is the feel and perception. And then cleanse yourself of maliciousness. That was recognizing, oh, I can't do this, or what this is. It's kind of, he's saying that's your ego. And then obstacles and barriers is what we described as friendly curiosity. So you can actually get over obstacles by blending with your mind with friendly curiosity. And biologically speaking, that's your neocortex. So that's the most sophisticated part of your brain. You get that fully online. You become immersed in what you're doing. And what you're doing is going to be infinitely varied and in proper conjunction with what's going on in your body. So that's how you create the smooth path forward. All right, so anyway, that's the 27th stanza of The Art of Peace. I'm going to go work out. King, out.